Margaret Concordia. Taoiseach, the Children's Ombudsman Emily Logan will shortly publish a report detailing her findings and recommendations into the circumstances in which two children were wrongly taken from their families in Tala and Athlone last October. The children, a girl aged 7 and a wee boy of 2-year-old, were taken from their parents, members of the Roma community, after it was reported that they might not be the family's own children. Now, these claims, Taoiseach, were totally and completely unfounded. There appears to be no other reason for the children being taken from their families other than that they were fair-haired and members of the Roma community. And indeed, DNA tests subsequently proved that the children were indeed members of their family. I'm sure you will appreciate this was a highly traumatic experience for the children, for their families. It was also an abusive process and a direct attack on the constitutional and human rights of the children and their families. And in my view, this happened because of a prejudiced and racist opinion of the Roma community. And as our society becomes more diverse, we need detailed integration strategies for the Roma community in Ireland and for other communities. I mean, the Athlone family still don't know where their child was taken that night. They are suing the state for breach of constitutional rights, false imprisonment, neglect and damages for mental distress and possibly defamation. So, Taoiseach, will you make it clear that you do not intend to waste taxpayers' money defending this case? And will you, on behalf of the state, apologise to these two families?
Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Adams, for your question. The report commissioned by the Children's Ombudsman, Emily Logan, was received by the Minister on the 2nd of April. On the advice of the Attorney-General, certain legal matters had to be attended prior to publication of the report. These have all now been resolved, and the report was brought to Government this morning and approved by Government for publication, and the Minister will do that at 4 p.m. today. This is a commendable report by Ombudsman Logan. It points out that there are quite a number of recommendations that need to be accepted and dealt with and fulfilled. Minister will deal with this at a press conference at 4 p.m. this afternoon. Copies of the report, Deputy, are being laid before the House. Minister will publish the report at a press conference with Ombudsman Logan. In advance of the press conference, the Minister is actually meeting with the families concerned. I understand that the Acting Garda Commissioner is meeting separately with the families. I want to say that the State will provide the families with every support to overcome these events. The upset that they endured and the stress that were caused over those few days last October and since then should never have occurred in this or in any jurisdiction. And the Government and I are determined that such events will never happen again. The report, as you will be aware, recommends that there be an apology provided by the Minister for Justice, and the Minister for Justice will do that. The report sets out a number of recommendations. The Government has accepted the findings of the report and its recommendations in full. So on that basis, there will be a group now, an implementation group set up by the Minister to monitor and see that the recommendations are included. The Department of Justice and Equality is currently leading a cross-departmental review of Ireland's migrant integration strategy. And the Government, Deputy Adams, is committed to ensuring that that review results in a more effective approach to Roma integration in Ireland, recognising the distinct challenges that the Roma community face, including language, translation, mentoring, understanding, all of these things that are important. So, from that point of view, let me repeat again that it is not acceptable that this should have happened, these events should have happened to this family or to any other family in this jurisdiction. And so, Minister will publish the report. Government have accepted all of the recommendations. An implementation group set up to actually implement those. Minister is currently meeting with the families. Interim Commissioner meeting with the families, and there will be a full press conference with the Minister and the Ombudsman at 4 p.m.
Thank you.
Taoiseach, for your answer, and also I welcome very much the meeting between the Minister, the Acting Commissioner and the two families. Now, we will recall that these incidents took place against a backdrop of scandalous media coverage of the Roma community. And in my opinion, these two cases in this jurisdiction are clear examples of racial profiling by the Garda and by the state. Because under the Child Care Act, the Gardaí must have reasonable grounds for believing, and I quote, that there's an immediate and serious risk to the child before taking such action. And yet, as you have acknowledged, no such risk existed in these cases. And if it did, why were the children with blonde hair and blue eyes taken away? Why weren't all the children taken away if there was a risk to the children in these families? And also the speed of intervention in these two cases in marked contrast, because just a week before these incidents, the Children's Ombudsman revealed that the HSE failed to intervene over several years after a child made multiple allegations of rape, and after another report revealed that 4,100 children assessed by the HSE as needing intervention had to wait for more than 3 months. So I welcome your answer. I do think that if we're to be serious about social integration, that all the proper processes, procedures, training, education needs to be put in place for public servants, including in Garda Síochána. And also, I do believe, and I put it to you again, that you as Taoiseach, as a gesture to those people who have come to our shores and those who particularly have suffered this injustice, that you should apologise, as the Minister will, that you should apologise on behalf of the State to the families.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with that at all, Deputy Adams, and I do apologise to those families, and particularly the children who had to put up with these events. As I said, the report recommends that the Minister for Justice should make an apology to the families, and the Minister for Justice will do that. But it shouldn't, these kind of events should not happen to anybody in our jurisdiction, and nobody can afford to stand over that, or can stand over it. I think it is very important that we recognise that quite a deal has been in progress over the last period. For instance, all of those people who come to our shores, as you say, and who are here for a number of years and who want to become Irish citizens are now formally given that opportunity at an official civil ceremony with a member of the judiciary, where all of the proper protocols are put in place, and people from other countries who come here to have Irish nationality or citizenship bestowed upon them very much appreciate that very much. In previous years, what they used to have to do was to go to a district court or a circuit court, and in between cases being heard of assault or stealing or whatever, make a case to say, I'm here to become an Irish citizen. So that's all taken away from that stressful position, and people are given proper accommodation and a proper ceremony to give them Irish citizenship. In this case here, quite a deal to be gone through, both from the Garda Síochána point of view, from society as a whole, and from our education system, and understanding mentoring, language, the different cultural backgrounds that these and other people come from, and that's all part of the process. So while this is unfortunate that this has happened, the state is very amenable to accepting the full report, all of the recommendations, to issue an apology, and of course the Minister for Justice, in meeting with the parents now and in having the press conference with Ombudsman Logan, will do that. And finally, again, let me say that this was all completed, Deputy Adams, in a very short time, speedily, efficiently, competently and comprehensively by the Ombudsman.
Legal case, Taoiseach,
Deputy Murphy.
There's one of the solicitors will consider suing the state, and that's a matter for